A few years back, me and my sister had went to the same school. My sister is 3 years younger than me, and I was in 5th grade. I was her bus buddy since we went on the same bus. I was walking down the hallway a few minutes before my class ended because I had to get ready to pick up my little sister. No one was in the halls except for the other bus buddies. But there was a legend at my school. There was a staircase. It was blue and white checkered, but I don't know if it's still like that. It's said that if you go up the stairs, hold your breath. We didn't know why, but everyone who had went up the stairs without plugging their noses either felt faint or actually fainted. I always looked at the staircase, holding my breath when I walked past it, but something caught my eye. There was a little boy underneath the staircase, huddled up in the corner, holding his knees and staring at me. He had a blue, old backpack on and a NASA shirt. I don't really remember what other features he had, but I quickly stopped right after I had passed the beginning of the stairway. I went back to look under it, but he wasn't there. Like any person, I thought it was just my brain picturing something because it was at the corner of my eye. I remember picking up my little sister and feeling a weird sensation in my stomach. It felt like when you know something is wrong, but you don't know what. The next day, same time, I was walking down the halls, when again I saw that boy, but this time I stared directly at him. I noticed that he was a bit transparent, not a whole lot, like I couldn't see everything behind him, but I could see the basketball's outline and color shining through him like a foggy mirror. I felt extremely freaked out and continued walking, holding my breath like usual. This happened for a whole week, making eye contact with him, not telling anyone until I told my best friend. She told me not to worry, but I was, of course, extremely worried. Like she told me to, I tried to shrug it off, but how could I? I kept seeing a transparent boy who kept disappearing right after I went on with my day. Another day passed. I decided not to look at the bottom of the staircase, so I did just that. I held my breath before I put my foot in front of the stairs and exhaled when I went past. I felt a feeling of curiosity hit my brain, and I looked behind me. I tried to keep in a shriek when I noticed the boy sprinting at me. I started to run, continuing to look behind my shoulder at the boy, and then I heard it. I heard a screaming voice saying something I could not make out before I heard him say, "Do not tell anyone." He disappeared right in front of my eyes, a few feet away from me, and I bumped into my friend, T. We fell to the ground and he started yelling at me because he almost hit his head. But despite the little ghost boy telling me not to, I told him everything. He looked at me with a concerned face and I knew he wouldn't believe me. So I just got up and picked up my little sister. That night, weird things started happening. My curtains would move like a wind was striking them, but I always closed my windows before sleeping. I saw the same goddamn boy in my mirror, just staring at me from the corner of my eye. And when I looked at him, he wasn't there. I would hear a little boy talking to me, but I don't have a little brother or brother in my house. I did have a dad, but he doesn't have a little boy's pitch of a voice. I told my mom and she didn't believe me, but my sister did. She saw ghosts and apparently still does, but she never saw my ghost. The same things would happen every night until my mom was driving me and my little sister to Taekwondo. I was telling her what happened for the millionth time and she didn't believe me. Until I said he had a NASA shirt and shoes that I don't remember the color of. Her face went pale, and she glanced at my sister through the car mirror. She told me that a little boy with autism had been skateboarding down the stairs and broke his neck after falling in the same school I had went to. Several teachers had told him not to. He was in the same grade as my mom. No one really got along with him. It was all over the news the next day. He had the same features and clothes I had mentioned to her. The thing was that she had never mentioned that story to us, so it obviously couldn't have been my imagination. 1 year later, when me and my sister got an Ouija board, we went to my little sister's school. My little sister's school had a floor in the middle of the back entrance's garden. It was a burned-down shack they used for storage. My friend could see and feel ghosts. She said that was the area she feels them the most. We placed the board on the floor along with the planchette. I had told my friend and my little sister about the boy, so my little sister asked, "Are we speaking to my sister ghost?" She asked. The planchette moved to yes, and I froze. She asked another question. "Why are you here?" The planchette moved to protect her. Just then pebbles started falling onto our heads. I asked, "Are you doing that?" And he answered, "No." We all looked up and realized it was a tree behind us. There was no animal like a squirrel or bird. Any animal in the tree. So, how was Pebbles being thrown at us? I never saw him again, but my sister did. I'm worried about my sister has something that is going to happen, so he has to protect her from the harm that gets thrown at her in her life, just like what happened to me. I'm currently in my room writing this. I still hear his voice sometimes, but he's not my guardian angel anymore. I know no one will believe me until they experience it. No harm in that. But I just want to tell you this now. If a ghost decides to contact you, and only you, you're probably in for a good treat.